This story began from my friend from school when he got to see the YouTube channel and everything. We did those old car programs and so on, and he said, hey Brennan, you have to get in contact with my friend Chris out near the Vaal. And here we go. Seems like quite an interesting place over here. Well, there's the river. I'm guessing, yeah, I think we see him over here. What is today all about, Chris?
Well, today is our annual vintage Kombi campout. Well, this weekend is our annual vintage campout, and what it's all about is getting people who like old Kombis together and coming and doing what old Kombis are good at, which is camping.
So what's the 60s story all about?
The 60s story. The 60s story is this is part of my 60th birthday celebration, which has been ongoing for 3 weeks now, all over the country. If you look behind us, you'll see our green bus there with the Kombi tent. We just returned from a 4,000 kilometer trip to the Cape, taking the long road, obviously.
Gisela, this dude has become a legend to you as well. Now, how come?
How come? 23 years we've been together. And I met him in a Kombi. Well, he had a Kombi. I had a BMW, my dad, a 1600, the old BMW.
Yeah.
And my dad gave me. So I attracted his attention because I had an old car.
Just now, I think we must go for a little walk around in the museum, or what you have got in the bar over there, and just have a little bit of a look.
Pizza menu and then the lazy food menu.
Highly recommend any of the pizzas, but this particular one is my favorite one.
I need to see who all the new arrivals are. It seems that plenty more people have showed up. So as you can see, there's a big turnout of synchro buses this year, which is unusual.
7 or 8 years already. We've got 3 others standing at home. We love Kombis.
You can just have a party wherever you go. And it runs like it's got a 2-liter Golf fuel injection motor in Shanala.
Christiaan's birthday gift. Belated birthday gift.
Vintage magazines, one that's as old as me. But we always wanted to build a pool, and we eventually did a couple of years ago. Best thing we ever did.
Actually, I found this one. I think I saw back on Gumtree days.
You think, is this the way it's going to be, or what's the story? Eh?
Well, I plan on painting it. This is actually, all this is from when she caught on fire. She was out of for about 2 months. Then the fuel line came out of the car. And she was 2 months old, and the whole back of the car caught on fire. Luckily it was on a building site, and everybody just ran and chucked sand, put the fire out, put new cables on it, and I drove her home the same day.
Probably had the most fun here, just meeting the people, interacting, especially the Kombi guys.
I've been here about 15 times since then.
And what's the vibe about it?
It's just fucking chilled. Just come here, chill out, be who you are, do what you want.
Started building it in lockdown.
On YouTube.
So the doors, each door took me 4 days. The motor's been built up, new brakes, new drums, everything new on it. I took a 60s tank and I welded this on a compressor tank. Done a lot on it.
This is our rat. Yeah, this is one of her first trips.
Yeah, this is Jagerbug. This is our tourer.
So I'll tell you a fascinating story, okay? This is a true story. 1963, the apartheid government brought in the marriage law. That marriage law, it's 61 actually, 1961, was that you couldn't marry your cousins and your brothers and sisters, which is a good thing. And there's in this little Karoo town from Wyksdorp, is there the postmaster and his daughter. They only have this one child. And she's this Nommerasseblief you know, she plugs the wires in there. And she falls in love with her cousin. And the church board decided this is illegal, this is from hell, and they ban him from town. So he leaves from Wyksdorp and he goes to Riverside. It's about 70 km by dirt road. Okay. The girl that he now, which is his cousin, she loves him dearly. She, with her first salary, goes to Riverside, where he became a mechanic in Van Riebeeck Motors, which was the Volkswagen dealership, and she buys a 1963 Volkswagen Beetle. Okay. So the car has to be serviced.
Right.
So on its service intervals, she would drive the 70 Ks on a, very arduous dirt road, and they would rendezvous. It's all written up in a diary, but everyone is quiet about it, nobody knows it, and so they carry on like that. This is when they were young. When she turned 80, the whole community has changed. Life has changed. South Africa has changed. Someone pick up on the story. And so the church board rescinds the decision and say, we will welcome him back. And at age 80, they move in together. In town, in the house that she inherits from a father. Beautiful Victorian Cape Dutch house, that she has. And so they only lived about 3 years. They insist that they are just living together in separate rooms, etc. But every Sunday, they would get in this 1963 Beetle, drive down to the Groot Rivier, and there under the pepper trees, they have this knitted blanket. They put it out, and the whole community sees this picnic that they're having there, and they just welcome them back and embrace them in the community. When she dies, her estate she bequeaths to the upkeep of this Sir Herbert Baker designed church of the very church board that ruined their lives but brought them together again. All about the Beetle, a 1963 Beetle. And this man restored it for me, and it's in my collection.
I prefer not to restore cars for the museum. I like to get something like this and just do a little touch up and clean up and have those and preserve them for many years to come. It's like this bus is in my possession for 20 years now.
That was a good Saturday, but next time, I think I'll take my own Kombi.